My favorite episode for the season, we are talking about the top 10 running backs for fantasy football 2025 non-consensus style. So this is not copy and paste. This is the real deal. And I'm telling you, some of these picks are going to shock you, but this is not the top 10 picks heading into the season. This is how they're going to finish. So I'm going to give you players that can actually finish on top here in the top 10, because we know last year, CMC first overall, everyone told you it does not work out exactly like last year. So top 10 running backs here on this number one fantasy football podcast, but I want to make this ultra interactive. If you're new to the channel, smash it, tap it, slap it, hit the thumbs up, and drop a comment below. Guys, listen, this is very important. Drop a comment below. Who is your favorite running back this season? Is it Genty? Is it Byjet? Is it Gibbs? Who is that running back? So you got to have this running back on your roster. Who is it? Drop it below. Drop your location, how long you've been playing fantasy football. Where are you located? Who's here? Is it Chicago? Is it LA? Is it Florida? What state? What city? Where are you from? Are you from Canada? Are you from overseas? I want to hear it. Drop it below. I want to make this interactive because my favorite episodes, we're talking running backs. You know how much I love the running backs. I am the running back whisperer. That's all I do is study running backs. I'm just kidding. I study other positions as well. But drop it below. Again, favorite running back, location, how long you've been playing fantasy. I want to get to know everybody, and I'll dive into the comments with you guys as well. Guys, fantasy football is back. Training camp is here, and I'm telling you, there's a bunch of news I want to get to here as well. Again, if you're new to the channel, smash it, tap it, slap it, hit the thumbs up. It's very, very important that you smash it. And I mean, like, it takes a fraction of a second. Hit the thumbs up. I want to get the message out and grab the 16-round draft solution. Sleepers, breakouts. This is literally handing you the championship on a silver platter. Sleepers, breakouts, optimal players, draft, late round steals, printable cheat sheet, which I update till the season starts. And of course, I give you full mock drafts. I'm telling you guys, rankings are done. It's the thing of the past because you will not win your draft on rankings. 16 rounds, grab it. You'll never look back. You guys will be so happy. Now, already news is coming out, like guys like Thornton, who's playing with first team. This is a guy that I got in my draft back in April because I see things before they happen, right? I see these sleepers, but everything. Kyle Williams, I got him on that team as well. That big money league that I drafted back in late April, early May, whenever it was. Kyle Williams, who's already making waves in training camp. So 16 rounds, you guys are going to be unbelievably wowed. Grab it below, okay? So let's dive into it right now. Let's start off with the latest news notes. If you're new to the channel, smash a thumbs up. We start this show, and I want to keep you guys up to date. Now there's going to be a lot more news. There's going to be a lot more news because training camp has started. You know, that little calm before the storm? Well, the storm is here. It's a good storm. It's a tropical storm we can enjoy and watch because football is back. So make sure you guys do, again, hit the thumbs up and turn on the bell because I'm going to be doing breaking news with, guess who? It's Breaking Brad.
We now have breaking news.
There he is. Oh, God, I love that tune. That means I'm going to inform you on some things that are going on around the league. I'm going to do that. We're going to get to the 10 running backs. We're going to count down 10 to 1. I am super pumped up, man. Fantasy's back, and do you feel the energy? I want to hear it in the comments, man. Let's bring it now. Okay, so a couple of things in the news I want to highlight. There's a lot of things going on in training camp. And again, if you're listening to this the first week of September or late August, then you might want to fast forward past this news because this is news based on current events. But I'm not going to take too long here with the news. A couple highlights here. Malik Neighbors' toe, remember he has a toe issue, will practice and has practiced fully at the start of training camp. He's getting a lot of volume, according to head coach Brian DeBall. So Malik Neighbors in camp. I don't think there's going to be a worry there. I know a lot of people are concerned. How about the toe? How about the toe? You know, I think we're going to be okay. Malik is pretty awesome, okay? Joe Burrow will likely play more preseason games, according to head coach Zach Taylor. And that's the thing, right? We see, you know, before it was like, we're talking years ago, starters would play more of the preseason games. Now more and more they're resting him, which is crazy because you really want to ramp up because that game speed is intense, right? You got the preseason and you got training camp, you got preseason. You want to get up to speed. Like it's like an on-ramp on the highway. You don't want to just throw these players in week one, right? And that's really going to affect your record, right? You start losing the first couple games because you're not up to speed. Then it's a bad start to the season. You want to ramp up. So these players need to play. So Joe Burrow apparently is going to be getting more play in the preseason games as he should. Okay. James Cook participated in practice Wednesday, July 23rd, according to head coach Sean McDermott. He's waiting that contract. And to be frank with you, I don't think he deserves it. Like, you're not talking about a guy who had 2 touchdowns each of the first 2 seasons. Then he has this explosive year. He has 16 touchdowns. It's not sustainable. It's not viable. And sometimes these running backs or players in general are just a product of the offense when they're just feeding him that volume. So I don't think he deserves it, but he deserves to get paid something, but not what he's expecting. I think he kind of wants, and again, I'm not speaking for him. This is what the feeling that I'm getting, that he wants that Saquon Barkley type salary, which is not even close, buddy. Nice try, okay? A couple other things. Stefon Diggs fully participated in practice Wednesday, July 23rd, and said he is not feeling any limitations with his surgically repaired knee. Now, I've got no Stefon Diggs stock. I'm more of a Kyle Williams guy, youth, upside, and I don't like wide receivers that are on the tail end of their career twilight years, okay? Washington Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin was placed on the reserve did not report list Wednesday. So he is awaiting a contract. And I think, he's in that situation where he does not deserve Jamar Chase money, similar to James Cook. He doesn't deserve Saquon money, not that good, but they deserve to pay him. I think he should get a handsome sum of money, but not Jamar Chase money. Now, I don't know if he's demanding Jamar Chase money. I think he wants a high salary, but they should pay him at this point. Like, he's their wide receiver 1. Without him, you're kind of stuck. I mean, I don't trust Deebo Samuel, okay? Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiver Chris Godwin, ankle availability for week 1 is uncertain at this point. So here's the thing, right? Chris Godwin, no stock. I'm not drafting him at all. Can't trust him. The main reason I'm concerned about the Chris Godwin situation is because I'm concerned about the Emeka Egbuka situation. Do I want to draft Emeka? I would really want him more if Chris Godwin is out, and I know that Chris Godwin is out, but we don't know if Chris Godwin is going to be out. I would assume, based on what we're hearing, I saw a picture of him where one leg is kind of swelled up, and I'm just hearing different rumblings and things, and at this point, I don't know. You don't know what you don't know, so it's hard to just draft Emeka with confidence with, Chris Godwin, potentially being able to play early in the season, because we're banking on a Godwin injury for Emeka to really emerge. And for best ball, I think Emeka's going to have some great weeks, but is he going to get a ton of volume with Evans and Godwin fully healthy? That's where I have the issue, right? So something to be aware of. Juwan Jennings is participating in practice, according to the reports here, Wednesday, July 23rd, despite his contract situations. Another guy, not that good, but wants to get paid. Understandable. Saints, Spencer Rattler, worked with first-team offense during practice on July 23rd. Tyler Shuff, S-H-O-U-G-H. Tyler Show will see time with the starters as well on Thursday. Okay, interesting. And I don't like this Tyler Shuck. I don't see it. It's a weird name. But anyways, let's move on here. Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson are in a QB battle. Both worked with first-team offense during drills on Wednesday. Interesting there as well. I think Daniel Jones gets that job. Is Anthony Richardson's body going to hold out? Something to monitor. What else is here that's worth mentioning? Oh, and my guy, the guy that was on the show, is Dante Thornton. Las Vegas Raiders Dante Thornton received some work with the first team offense during practice. And that's what I was reading, man. It's him and Tucker and Myers are the 3 lining up. I don't know why Jack Besh is not getting the volume or getting on with first team. Maybe because he's playing slot and some of the other guys are beating him. I don't know. But Thornton, man, I'm excited about him, and he's literally going undrafted. Okay, and I saw that. I got him in that big money league. I'm super excited, okay? So that's pretty much it for news at the time of this recording. That's why you got to tune in every morning, because there's going to be new news. New news, there you go, as we continue on here. So that's it for Breaking Brad.
We now have breaking news.
All right, let's go here. Okay, let's talk about the top 10 running backs. And there's a bunch of rookies in here. It's going to shock you. Again, in the comments, drop a comment below. Which running back is it you must have? In the comments below, location, where you're from, how long you've been playing fantasy. I want to get to know everybody, okay? And grab the 16-round draft solution, sleepers, breakouts, optimal players, drafts each round. Secure the solution, secure the championship. Grab it below right now, okay? So first running back that I love that I think can finish top 10. Love the talent. And there's a bunch of rookies in here, okay? Because I'll tell you why there's a bunch of rookies in here. First one is Amari and Hampton. I'll tell you why there's a bunch of rookies in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down their profile, the rookies, so you learn a little bit about them, height, weight, ability, and then I'm going to tell you why I love them, okay? So, and kind of where they're sitting on the sheep rankings. So I'm going to give you guys the full breakdown. So listen, don't just fast forward. Listen to the reasoning why I love these players for this season. So Omarion Hampton, number 10. And the reason I love these rookies is because guys like James Cook, who we know is going to regress, guys like Chuba sitting 17th amongst running backs. Hampton is 19th. We got guys like James Conner sitting ahead of Omarion Hampton, and ahead of guys like Caleb Johnson. It's ludicrous, right? DeAndre Swift, RB21, ludicrous. These guys suck. Years to wow us, we're not wowed. Over the hill running backs, guys that are about to lose their job or injury prone, ahead of these young rookie running back studs in great situations. It's absolutely crazy, okay? I'm going to give you guys some running back strategy as we go here along as well. So that's why you got to listen to the show in its entirety, okay? So number 10 is Omarion Hampton, round 3 ADP, sometimes falls to round 4, depending on your league, depending on how many people. Here's a little profile here. Let's talk about him, okay? Sitting as RB19 on the sheep rankings, round 3 ADP. Najee's sitting 35, just so you know. This guy's 19. 6 foot, 4.46 speed, 220. Some notes on him: 5.9 yards per carry in college, 15 touchdowns, 38 receptions, and 1,600 plus yards last season. Violent runner. He tends to run for extra yards after the initial contact, extra 2 to 3 yards after initial contact. The burst through the hole initially is amazing. Reliable hands, amazing contact balance. He is a complete workhorse running back. I love him. And he's in a great offense with a good O-line. Dude, I'm super excited about the talent, but there is a caveat, and there's a reason why this guy is not top 5 on my list right now and could easily finish there, and that is the Najee Harris effect, okay? Listen, I'm not a fan of Najee. I don't like Najee. I don't even think that Najee's that good, but he's a guy that's always been a workhorse. He's a guy that has that presence where he demands the volume. It's not like another guy coming in that's going to be mediocre essentially and like completely off the radar. Like we'll get to another guy like J.K. Dobbins, which he completely sucks, right? We'll get to that in a second. But when you look at a guy like Hampton, you look at a situation that's optimal. He's young, he's excited, and there's a reason they only signed, I believe, Najee for like 1 year. They believe in Hampton, high draft capital picked by them. They love him. He is the future of this offense at the running back position. Arguably, physically, when you look at him, when you look at the talent, when you watch the tape, one of the best running backs that jumps out at you out of this draft when you look at physical ability, and the situation is prime. But the Najee effect turns me off a bit. Now, if you do want to draft him, where we're talking strategy, you have to look at a early, robust RB strategy, regardless of whatever format you're on, whatever league you're in, whatever, I don't care. You have to go top heavy on running backs because there's a significant fall off after round 5 where you are completely guessing. Whereas the wide receiver position, there's a ton of sleepers. We talked about Thornton, we talked about Trey Harris, other guys that can emerge later that you can get at wide receiver where I feel comfortable with that. Like example, Ladd McConkey and Brian Thomas last year, round 7 and 9, both those guys. Where you look at running back, it's really dicey and really shaky, so you have to be careful. So if you do get Hampton, he'd be your RB2, RB3. He'd be my RB3 if I'm drafting, if I can get him in the 3rd round. But you have that Najee factor, he's going to be a thorn. And Najee's not a guy that gets hurt a lot. Now, there's the whole eye thing. That could be something there, but we don't know the seriousness of it. They're saying it's superficial and he's going to be ready and he's trained in training camp and all that. But like, it was just a crazy thing that he did. Okay. So either way, I just got this good feeling about Hampton, and I felt better after Najee did that because it shows that Najee's not too smart. And I don't know. I just hear good things about Hampton. I just get him as your RB3, okay? But understand that Najee's going to be a pest, but you're getting Hampton round 3 compared to like a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs round 1 when you know Montgomery's going to be a pest, and you're for sure that Montgomery's going to be a pest. So we'll get to that in a second. So Hampton, number 10. Number 9, and this is why the sheep rankings just blow my mind here. He's my number 9, and I actually see this guy finishing as a top 5 running back. Caleb Johnson, workhorse, 0 committee, sitting at RB28. Like I said, we got Swift as RB21. We got James Conner as RB18. We got Chuba 17. And here's the thing, and this goes to all positions. Because they are a rookie, they're completely being slept on. But you, as a person who thinks outside the box and follows this channel, that's why I got to subscribe, turn on the bell, understand and think outside the box and say to yourself, okay, look, Caleb Johnson is in a prime situation. Let's go over his draft profile. And then you're going to think, you're like, this guy's going to be an RB1. Like, look at this. Stick with me here. Workhorse, 1,500 plus yards, 6.4 yards per carry, 21 touchdowns and 27 receptions last year in college. 6'1", 224, 4.57 speed. Not as fast as Hampton, who's a 4.46 speed, but that's okay because in-game speed, he's gonna be solid. Tomlin's already said he's gonna be good. He's got amazing vision, controlled violence. His tempo behind the line is top-notch. Reliable hands, amazing burst through the hole, and workhorse battle-tested. Caleb Johnson out of Iowa in a great situation with 263 attempts freed up with Najee gone. I cannot express to you, okay, how good the situation looks. We know the Steelers look to run the workhorse running back. They're just known for that. We've seen it throughout the years. Guys like Le'Veon Bell, guys like Najee Harris. Najee Harris, who couldn't average 4 yards per carry, sucks, still managed to outperform a guy like Jaylen Warren. Warren is not a threat. I'm not concerned about Warren. Whenever you're looking at any running back, you got to take a look at how big the gap is between talent. Caleb Johnson is better than Najee Harris, and Najee got 263 attempts. Warren had 120. And all these Warren lovers, you're in for a big surprise. And I think everybody sleeping on Caleb is in for a big surprise. I've already heard interviews of this guy saying, coming out and saying, I compare myself to a Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry type running back. Like, he is putting himself up there. He is confident. And we know with confident running backs, we saw it with Kyron Williams on the show last year. Should we draft you? He's like, is an elephant heavy? And he was super confident. I'm like, yes, an elephant's heavy, Kyron. We want to draft you, right? Like, so it's a confidence level, guys. And Caleb's got it. He's got everything you want in a workhorse running back in a great situation with no Najee there. It's prime. And yet he's RB20. What is he? RB28 coming off round 5. Absolutely ludicrous for a guy I'm super excited about. Draft him on all rosters, 0. Now, in the comments, I'm asking everybody, what's that running back you have to have? And for me, it's got to be Caleb Johnson, just based on value. He's my RB4. I'm getting him round 5. After I've secured maybe a Josh Allen, I've secured other running backs. My team is solid. I'm still getting a top 5, top 10 running back who's going to eat. Caleb Johnson, number 9. Number 8, RJ Harvey. Now, I get this question asked a lot. Do I go RJ Harvey or Caleb Johnson? RJ Harvey's coming off before him. That's why I put him off ahead of him here. But here's the deal. Let's go over his draft profile. I'll answer that question for you. Round 2 pick. So we're talking high draft capital, 5'8", 205. So a little smaller than the other guys I mentioned, but faster, 4.4 speed. I had Pat Bryant on the show, round 3 pick, elite wide receiver, Denver Broncos, rookie, on the show. And I asked him, I'm like, dude, how good is RJ Harvey? And you know what he said to me? He's like, man, his ability to make people miss is pretty phenomenal. And, I talked to him off, and I won't say exactly what we said, but after the conversation, I'm really not concerned about other running backs there. That's all I'm going to say. But elite lateral quickness, phenomenal. His jump cuts are amazing. Workhorse battle tested. Ability to make defenders miss is awesome. Contact balance, blazing speed, great vision, and awesome ball security. He's got everything. Now you can make an argument how good is his pass pro. They're going to want to bring in, a guy like Dobbins to do that. Listen, I'm not in on Dobbins. Dobbins sucks. Years to wow us were not wowed. A guy that was in a situation where he could have ran for 5,000 yards with the Chargers and barely scratched the surface. Like, I'm telling you guys right now, this guy is the real deal. I'm telling you, real deal. Now, again, is Dobbins a factor? Let's put it this way. I'm annoyed by it. But because I'm going top-heavy running backs, Harvey's my 3, and then I got Caleb essentially as my RB4 on my roster. So I'm not really relying on Harvey to carry my workload. If I can flex him if I need to. And he's going to have his big games for sure. But I do believe the talent rises to the top. I believe that RJ Harvey's a beast. And the fact that he's sitting as RB24, whatever he's sitting at, is absolutely ludicrous. Okay? Absolutely ludicrous based on the upside and talent of RJ Harvey. A great situation. When we look at the Broncos, you're like, man, going into that situation, they had nobody. They had Estime, they had a bunch of other McLaughlin, all these other bottom feeders. Whoever was drafted there was prime, and I was all over it. But when Dobbins came in, it just kind of, kind of pissed me off a little bit. But I think he's just there to like light more fire under Harvey, okay? And maybe that veteran experience, or maybe you want to get in Dobbins there for some pass protection. They just want to feel a little bit warm and fuzzy with that veteran presence. But I think Harvey's the real deal, and you're going to have to pay a 4th-round pick, maybe even a 3rd-round pick to get him. So that's something I'm going to be watching intently in training camp, is what's going on with Harvey. Coming in at number 7. Again, grab the 16-round draft solution, sleepers, breakouts, optimal players draft each round. Put your light years ahead of the sheep and drop it below. Where are you from? Who's the must-have running back? And what was the other thing I want? And location. Where are you from? Shout out to everybody. I want to get into the comments. I want to learn who's watching the channel. Okay, bunch of creeps. You watch it, you don't say anything. I want to know who you are. Tell me in the comments. Okay. All right. Number 7 is Chase Brown. Great offense. Not like elite talent, like Saquon talent, but really solid talent. Finished 10th right last year. And he's sitting as RB10. I got him here at 7. Now, Chase Brown, talent-wise, I'm just not like jumping out of my seat saying, I got to get Chase Brown. He doesn't make me feel like the way I feel with some of these other running backs I'm going to mention, in the top 3, top 4, or even like a Caleb Johnson or Harvey. I'm not getting that type of warm and fuzzies, right? But I got him at 7 here because just based on ADP, you're going to have to draft him before you draft a Harvey or a Caleb, that type of thing, right? But Chase Brown, like I said, RB10 on the sheep rankings. I got him at 7. He was a 5th-round pick, and I always question 5th-round picks. I don't get warm and fuzzy about 5th-round picks as much when they're drafted by the team. They did draft Tajay Brooks as a rookie last year. Great year. Almost cracked 1,000 yards, 990, 4.3 yards per carry, 229 attempts. The good thing that he has going for him is that they didn't really draft anybody that's going to be a threat to him. They got Moss Boss, who sucks. They got nobody else there. And Chase Brown did pretty good last year on a good offense. So I'm drafting him because I kind of want a piece of that offense. That's it. And he's going to have opportunities with Higgins and Chase opening things up. It opens up less stacked boxes for Chase Brown. So he just doesn't make me feel giddy. When I think of Chase Brown, I think safe. I think solid. I think warm and fuzzy, but there's something in the back of my mind that's saying this guy could fall out of the top 10. Just keep that in the back of the mind as I'm talking here. I just tell you straight up, okay? I don't have a lot of Chase Brown stock because I tend to draft Kyren Williams when I'm on that turn and I got to make a decision, but that's another discussion, okay? All right, number 6 here. Let's go to number 6, Derrick Henry. Now, Derrick Henry is a running back I look at late 1st round if I've missed out on the other guys that I'm going to mention here. If I miss out on like a Gibbs or some other guys. The reason I still like Derrick Henry is because there's no competition, right? When you look at any running back, you got to take a look at like volume, right? And he's a volume getter. There's no doubt about it. 325 attempts last year, 1,900 yards, 16 touchdowns, okay? And that's typical Derrick Henry, right? And sorry, where was I looking here? 16 touchdowns. That's right. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. 5.9 yards per carry, 325 attempts. That's Derrick Henry. But the big question is, when is the fall off year going to happen? That is my question mark, right? I don't want to be there to pick up the pieces if it's the fallout year. Do I think there's more in the tank for Derrick Henry? I'd say yes, because I'm watching his training videos. The guy is an animal. Finished 4th last year in fantasy points, 31 years old. There's not much I need to say about Derrick Henry, but the only concern is, when is the fall off year going to happen? I'm hoping it's not this year. I got him in a bunch of best ball leagues, but he's not in my big money leagues. He's not in my redraft leagues. That's all I got to say. It's totally up to you. But if you're looking at the end of 1st round, you want to stack him with someone else, like the next guy I'm going to mention here, go ahead and do that. But there is that thing in the back of my head that's telling me, man, is it the fall off year? And let me know in the comments. Do you think it's Derrick Henry's fall off year? I'm curious about what you guys think. How many years does Derrick Henry have? I'd love to get it in the comments below. Let me know, okay? Coming in at number 5. Now, I did a top 5 video on my social, and I had Kyren out of it. I had Henry in it. Now that I did some thinking, I'd rather have Kyren Williams over Derrick Henry. Why? 3rd in attempts last year, and they had drafted Blake Corum last year, and I personally thought Corum would have been a factor, but he wasn't. Now, 14 touchdowns. Maybe there's a slight regression there for Kyren Williams, but he's sitting as RB12. He's outside the top 10 on the sheep rankings. But I love Kyren Williams. He was on the show, so there's a little bit of bias there, of course. But his work ethic, when you actually sit down and talk to running back. You could feel the energy. The guy wants to leave a legacy, and I think that he's got a chip on his shoulder. In fact, I know I could see it. You always talk about like the Jahmyr Gibbs and the Saquon Barkleys of the world, but Kyren is not so much in that conversation as a top running back. Let's be honest. He's one of those guys that flies under the radar but puts up impressive numbers. Like I said, third in attempts. Blake Corum was a non-factor. Now they drafted the rookie Hunter. Is that going to be an issue? I don't think so, because last year Blake Corum was not a factor. He was a non-issue. So I'm not really concerned about anyone else doing that volume. It is a contract year. Would I feel better if they paid him a big contract going into the season? Sure. But he's hungry right now. So I'm drafting him based on hunger. And he looks good. I just posted a video. If you're not following my Insta, make sure you guys are following my Insta. Posted a video of him. He looks absolutely dynamic and phenomenal on the field. He's running routes, catching the ball. Kyren Williams is a special player, man. I just think that he's under the radar, and I like him, man. And I stack him. He's my RB2 in a lot of my leagues. So I'm rolling with him. I know a lot of people are fading him. They don't feel warm and fuzzy with him. I get it, but there's no competition, right? You're drafting Jahmyr Gibbs ahead of him, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, but you got to contend with Montgomery. You don't got to contend with anybody here, Kyren Williams, okay? Number 4 here is Jahmyr Gibbs. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the situation here, okay? Jahmyr Gibbs. Montgomery is the issue. And whether you like it or not, love him, hate him, whatever it is, Montgomery's an issue. Let's talk about it. Montgomery last year got hurt. I think it was like week 13. So Gibbs was pretty much free week 14. And if you were to average it out, like Gibbs had like 46 points the last week, okay? 46 fantasy points. If you're average out, he's like over 30, 31, 32 fantasy points. Montgomery there, he had a lot of lower games. I would say an average of like 18 per game with Montgomery there. So there's a big fall off, okay? Now, he did have 16 touchdowns on the ground, did Jahmyr Gibbs, but 6 of them came when Montgomery was out. Montgomery, if healthy, is almost guaranteed to steal 200 rushing attempts and at least 10 touchdowns on the ground. Now, here's the caveat. Here's something to think about. There's a new offensive coordinator with Morton in there. Ben Johnson out, Morton in. Different coordinator. The O-line is different now. It's not going to be the same. They say they want to involve Jameson Williams more. I think Sam Laporta had a bit of a down year last year. He might get involved more. My question is this, right? And I think a lot of people are asking this question. Based on what we saw last year, Jahmyr Gibbs was phenomenal when he was by himself. And I've been saying that since the inception of Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery, since they first started talking, right? First, the whole Jahmyr Gibbs talk. Since he started to step on the field. Every time Jahmyr Gibbs touches the ball, you were looking at like a breakout play, like something special. Every time Montgomery touches the ball, I'm not expecting anything but a few yards up the middle. And that's just a fact, or maybe a goal line carry. Jahmyr Gibbs is absolutely special. But they got to make a decision. Like, what are we doing? Are we going to run Gibbs more? Are we going to reduce the load of David Montgomery? The Sonic and Knuckles? Is it going to be more Sonic than Knuckles? I don't know. But I would assume they're not going to do that. I would assume, if anything, a 10-15% regression in Montgomery's value. And that being said, yes, I love Montgomery. And I don't love Montgomery. Yes, I love Jahmyr Gibbs, but the Montgomery thing is a thorn in my side and is too sharp for me to ignore. It's just too sharp. I loved Gibbs, and I've said this a million times, okay? If Gibbs, by the way, had 64 attempts in the last 3 games, 64 attempts, man, the volume was wild. If Montgomery was not there, Jahmyr Gibbs would be breaking every running back record ever made, from rushing yards to receiving yards to most touchdowns scored in a season by a running back. It just burns me to know that Montgomery's there, hindering the upside and the special talent that is Jahmyr Gibbs from potentially being the greatest running back of all time. I'll leave it at that. But that being said, I still think he produces on a top 10 level, regardless of Montgomery being there. And I'm kind of banking on another Montgomery injury. Let me know in the comments below. Are you scared of, is Montgomery scaring you away from Jahmyr Gibbs? Want to make this interactive, okay? Number 3, Saquon Barkley. I'm going to tell you straight up, because you know me, man. I don't pull any punches. I tell you straight up. I've got this much. I'm putting, this is a 0, by the way. It's a donut. If I had a donut on, I'm trying to avoid, I love sweets. I'm trying to avoid sweets. I've been working out quite a bit and staying away from the sweets as much as I can. I got a sweet tooth. Let's be honest here, okay? But I got 0 zero Saquon Barkley stock in all my fantasy drafts. Why? Because of law of probability, law of averages, what goes up must come down. Eventually, like I said, an injury's due. Now, I'm not wishing injury. Joe, how could you say that? You're wishing it. I'm not wishing injury. I hope he has a great season. I hope he I love it when running backs break records. In fact, he could have broke records last year with the rushing yards, most rushing yards ever, but he sat down. And I'm like, dude, you're destroying your legacy, man. Like, people kind of remember the Super Bowl, but you got to get blended in, right, with all the other people that won Super Bowls. But when you break the most rushing yards of all time, like, you're going to be remembered forever. And the fact that you sit when you could possibly break records, it's just crazy. That being said, he's on the cover of Madden. He had that phenomenal jump. It was almost like a too perfect of a year, right? One of only 9 running backs to ever supersede the 2,000 yards on the ground, 2,005 rushing yards, 345 attempts, 5.8 yards per carry, 13 touchdowns, finished second in fantasy points. But you got to understand that injury is inevitable, right? And bottom line is, I just, based on historically with running backs and any position player, like we saw Michael Thomas 2018, we saw Cooper Kupp, right? Like, when they have such a great year, regression is imminent. How much of a regression? Yet to be seen. And that tends to be the excuse on why people tend to go with that pick still, because they're like, hey man, like, even if they factor in a 20% regression, I'm still getting a 1,400 yard, 1,600 yard season or whatever it is. I'm not doing my math. My math ain't mathing right now. But I almost feel for sure either a regression or injury is imminent. And I'm hoping not. And then you got the Super Bowl hangover, right? And you also got the tush push, which still stays in effect, which again, you're going to get more hurts near the goal line. So totally up to you, but I'm personally not drafting. Now, well, why is he in your top 10? Because I got to put him there. Why? Because he's great talent, because there's no other running back in that committee, because he still, without an injury, still going to finish a top 3 running back. Okay. So you guys, I've given you your warning. Proceed with caution. Okay. Number 2 here. Well, Joe, this is so high. How could you have Ashton Jeanty here at number 2? And I'm torn. I think he should be the 1.01. Joe, it's a rookie. How could you do that? He had easy matches in college. He had a soft schedule, blah, 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 blah. Shut up. Okay. Ashton Jeanty is a elite talent running back, generational talent. Let's go through his profile. 5'8", 210, give or take. Couple pounds, depending on what he ate the night before. Boise State, okay, we know that. 2,600 yards, 7 yards per carry. That's pretty phenomenal. A ton of touchdowns, 4.4, what is this? 4.4 speed. That's pretty phenomenal. Now, here's a couple things here, right, that you need to know about his ability. The ability to shed tackles is top-notch. Elite vision. He has that rare combination of that burst off the line and that long speed, which is amazing as well. Phenomenal hands, workhorse, and he's a game breaker. He's one of those guys that could just take the ball, run with it, and just change the game script immediately. He's got everything. It's like the perfect storm, man. And like, I don't see anything less than 300 attempts, unless some reason they just annoy the heck out of me and they pull a Algier type thing that happened with Bijan's first year. Like, I don't, like, knock on wood, barring any injury, he's primed. And some people are like, oh, he's on the Raiders. Like, I don't care, because the new offense, right? They brought in Geno Smith, who could definitely manage that offense. They brought Thornton. They got Beck. They got improved O-line. They really just revamped this offense, okay? I'm really not concerned about the Raiders. In fact, I ordered a Raiders hat. It's coming in this Saturday. So, yeah, I'm going to be wearing a Raiders hat. I'm all in because I'm all in on Jeanty. And that's it. That's all I'm going to say. There's nobody else there. I'm not concerned about Mostert. I'm not concerned about anybody. I'm not concerned about Zamir White, who I thought would have done something last year. I was getting him in the 5th round in a lot of leagues. That was my biggest Achilles heel last year. I've got it right this year. Jeanty, I'm in. Sign me up. And there's been busts in the 1st round. Going back a couple of years, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I faded that guy. I knew that he would bust. And everyone's like, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he was on the Chiefs. I'm like, don't do it. But I'm getting different vibes from Jeanty. He's going to probably have a couple down games, but he's primed for a ton of volume, okay? And the last one, before I get into it, again, smash it, tap it, grab the 16-round draft solution, ironclad roster, secure the solution, secure the championship, and drop it below. I want to get it in the comments right now, guys. your location. I want shout out to whatever city you're in. How long you been playing fantasy and your favorite running back. The running back you must have in the comments and smash that thumbs up. We got the energy. Fantasy is back. Number one, without a question, is Bi-Jan. Now, first and foremost, why are you calling them Bi-Jan? Bi as in bi-weekly. Jan as in ran as in tan as in man as in fan. Bi-weekly. Jan as in tan. Well, that's not how he pronounces it. Shut up. I don't care. That's how I pronounce it. I don't follow the herd. That's how I see it. When I look at that name, I see Bi-Jan. I don't see B-E-E-J-H-O. Anyway, you guys get the picture. Bi as in bi-weekly. Ran as in tan as in fan as in man as in whatever. Okay? Bi-Jan. So Bi-Jan, 304 attempts. Phenomenal. Okay? Receptions were good. Touchdowns were good. 4.8 yards per carry. Listen, 1,400 yards. Durable, strong, solid offense. He's already worked with Penix there. Like, I don't really trust Penix as a quarterback. There could be some issues there, but that could only help Bi-Jan because they're going to throw the ball to him, short passes, outlet, more rushes. I don't care. Algier is a non-factor at this point. He has broken away from the Algier committee, and in a situation in the NFL right now, in a world now where running back committees are more and more prevalent and more out there, why not secure the guy that we know is going to be a workhorse that's trending up, whereas Saquon is trending down, based on what I said. Bi-Jan is the clear-cut one. I can make an argument for Genty because he's young, dynamic, no committee there either, but we don't have the proven track record, right? I don't want another Algier type situation. We don't know, but with Bi-Jan, we know he's the guy, all right? So he's the clearest one. When I look at everybody else, because there's rookies, there's question marks, there's Chase Brown who doesn't have the upside talent. We got Henry who's older. We got Kyron Williams who could do it, but like we got Gibbs with Montgomery. There's so many situations. It's dicey. You got to cut through, right? You got to cut through the tape. You got to look. You got to like pull out the weeds and take a look. When you look at the situation, step back, 360-degree view, aerial view, Bi-Jan is in the best situation, without a doubt, right? Clear. All I see is clear field, open field, just to beautiful pasture, whatever you want to say. All right. Bi-Jan, number one, first overall. I take over Jamar Chase, who's also coming off a pinnacle year, and he's a wide receiver. There's tons of wide receivers you get later. Secure the running back. All right. Those are your top 10 running backs. If you enjoyed this show, if this is making sense to you, make sure you guys do turn on the bell and smash thumbs up. Smash thumbs up, turn on the bell, and drop it below. Where are you from? And how long have you been playing fantasy football? And what is a running back that you must have? All right. Hope you enjoyed this show. I love doing this episode. I love talking running backs. And when we're talking strategy, I promise strategy as well. Make sure you go top heavy on running backs. I mentioned it in this episode as well. And grab some of these guys. Secure them. Because after that, it gets dicey. There's the Swifts and the Connors and the Javonte Williams and it just gets really messy, man, after round 5. It's just really, really messy. You are taking a risk. And some of those guys could break out, like a Woody Marks or a Bashal Tootin or some of these other guys could break out. Trey Benson breaks out after James Conner gets hurt, which he's overdue as well. Could happen. But secure these guys early, all right? Fantasy Football 2025 is here. Hit the thumbs up, smash it, tap it, slap it, and I will see you in the next video. I'm going to roll out some top 10 videos coming up, so turn on that bell. We'll talk soon. Hope you enjoyed it.